Good morning. Wonderful Friday morning. So I thought I'd come outside here and quick video for you. Um, some inspiration. Yeah, it's me in the flesh. Uh, Sobriety, for lack of a better word, or once you decide to quit. Yeah, not sobriety, because I don't believe in that garbage. Once you decide to quit, once you decide to stop destructive habit that you're doing, um, you're gonna have a lot of negative Nancy's that are going to try to convince you that you haven't stopped. But that's the most backwards thing you'll ever hear in your life. How can they tell you that you haven't quit when you're not doing what you were doing before? Yes, you have quit. Okay. It's like a little story about a bird. You know, bird was born, tried to fly, injured itself, and the entire time while the bird's body was healing, other birds are telling it that it couldn't fly. So it started to believe that it couldn't fly. And this went on for a while. Then, by happenstance, one day the bird was sitting there on the ground watching the other birds just like him fly. And he's like, well, dang, if they can fly, why can't I? What's different about me? So a couple more days went by. The bird thought about it, and considered it, and it just kept walking around, eating what was on the ground. Still looking up at the other birds. They're just flying. They're mating. They're migrating, moving on with their life. And lo and behold, here come those other birds. They come around and say, "Hey, you can't fly. Don't. What are you doing? What are you looking up? You can't fly. It's going to take a lot of work and support and help for you to finally fly." And you know what? The bird said, "No, skip this. I'm done with you, negative Nancy's." You know what that bird did? Stretched out his wings, flew, and never looked back. And that's you. You that bird. Once you realize that all the negative Nancy's that just been putting poison in your mind, and all you needed to do was decide to quit and move on with your life. All you had to do was just stop, fly, and move on and put it behind you. And that's all you need to do. That's the key. Stop doing it, move on, pick another healthy habit if you have choose to. Do whatever you want. It's your life. You move on. Up to this point, you've been pretty selfish with your problem, be it drugs, alcohol, what have you. You've been pretty selfish. So that was the bad selfish. This is the good selfish. You have to do this for yourself. You can't do this for anyone else but yourself. You can't do this for your kids, your spouse, your loved ones, anyone else, because, you know, be honest with yourself. The honest truth is when you try and do it for someone else, you're just trying to appease them. You're just trying to buy time, get sympathy. Deep down, you're going to go right back to what you're doing. So when you decide to do this good selfish act, when you decide to quit for yourself, for your own life, that's when you've reached deep down and you said you've had enough and you'll stop and then you'll start to fly. You'll start to migrate and mate or do whatever and move on. Quitting a bad habit is one of the easiest things to do. You are a human being. You are the most powerful creature on this earth. You have proven it. Think about all the stuff that you have done since you started your destructive habit. All the things that you've done to make sure you can get what you want when you wanted it. There's you're the most powerful being on the earth, human beings. We go on hunger strikes, set ourselves ablaze. We do all kinds of stuff to ourselves willingly. So quitting a bad habit's piece of cake. Look at all the stuff that we have created on this earth from nothing. We were on this We were on this earth first, butt naked with nothing, and look at what we've created. That's you. This is who you are. You can do it. So when people try to tell, now some people, some negative Nancy's that are very close to you, they mean well sometimes. Sometimes people don't. Sometimes people want to see you in the predicament that you are, because you're reliant on them. I never forget, I saw an HBO special one time, and there was this kid. He was a former football player. He was a hero. They had pictures of him. He was a great guy. He was muscular. He's built, like I am. He was just super strong, great guy. And long story short, he became an alcoholic. He became a habitual alcohol drinker. I know HBO still has a special, but he became a big ball of sorry, basically. He's begging for drink from his grandfather. His grandfather would give him, little bits and pieces. His former girlfriend was still sticking by him and give him, money to drink and stuff. He was just a big ball of pity. He turned out skinny, and his hip was messed up because he had got drunk and fallen and messed up his hip, and it didn't heal right, and he was all tore up, and it was like a big ball of pity. In the end, he ended up dying. Very young man. And when you look at those football pictures, how handsome he was, how strong he was, and healthy, and everybody say he was a great guy, but that bottle took him, got him hooked, and that was it for him. And all those people that were around him, you can kind of see that they depend on him too, because his grandfather, would wean him, talk about how he would wean him, give him some little bit of drink here and there, and his girlfriend was saying the same thing, and you could tell everybody in his life were kind of dependent on him being the drunk that he was. And once you stop doing what you're doing, you're going to see that too. There's some people that maybe in your life that are dependent on you being the way that you are, and once you wake up and you stop doing what you're doing, they might get a little afraid. But don't worry about that. Once they see that you're not going to abandon them, you're not going to be out of their life, you're probably going to be a very good positive influence on their life, that they'll back you up. But sometimes people tell you negative things because that's what they're taught to. They don't mean any harm. It's just they don't know any better. So don't get mad at them. Just stop doing what you're doing. Move on with your life. If you want to keep these people in your life, that's fine. They'll come around and you can teach them something new. And they're going to have a whole new respect for you. But don't be like that young man on HBO that becomes a big ball of self-pity, that you can't do it, and that you're just basically begging and depending on others, and you just a big ball of sorry to them, and they've lost all respect for you, and you lost respect for yourself, and you're just going to keep doing what you're doing until the day you die, and you never wake up. But this is your wake up call. This is your opportunity to wake up, stop, and move on. Okay, if you don't do these things, I'm telling you, been on this earth 53 years. I've been around a lot of people that were hooked on different things, you know, and the ones that successfully quit were the only people that successfully quit were the ones that did it themselves. They realized, they stopped, and they moved on. There's a lady. She well, was a very close member of our family. For the sake of her children, I won't use her name in this video. But I had her. She was a wonderful, sweet woman. Uh, Knew her since I was a child. Looked up to her. Her family, great family. Uh, she grew up, and this was back in the '80s. She started doing coke, and crack, and weed, and drinking, partying. You know, and the kids wanted her to stop. She wouldn't. But one day she had a slight stroke. Something happened, and she ended up in the hospital. And the kids were crying to her, begging her to, pleading with her to stop. They didn't want to see her harm herself anymore. They were scared they were going to lose her. That didn't stop. You know what stopped her? One day she just decided to stop. I'm not yanking chain. She just said, you know what? I'm tired of this life. I love my children. My babies need me. I need to be me. I need me. I need to be healthy. So she decided to stop, and she never did it again. And I mean, it was like, good God, she was almost 20 years later. She never looked back. And it was like a part of the past. People had completely forgot the stuff that she did before. I almost didn't remember that she was smoking crack and coke and weed and drinking, doing it all. You meet this woman, you would have never thought she did it. And that's how you're going to be once you decide that you're finished with this stuff. But may she rest in peace now. She passed away, but it wasn't because of drugs or anything. She was in a bad car accident, unfortunately. But sweet woman. But yeah, you know, and that's how you have to be. You have to do it for yourself. She did it for herself. She stopped, and I tell you, everybody completely forgot what she was ever uh, using intoxicants. People completely forgot. She got involved in the church, became a well-respected member of the church, and like I said, that's why it's hard for me to find people to interview because when people decide to quit their habit, they just move on with their life, and everybody forgets what they did, and it's like a whole complete episode of their life is just completely erased, which is a good thing. They just moved on. So, uh, you're a former user or drinker or whatever, and you stopped on your own, please contact me, JUNEJUN1971 at yahoo.com. I would love to interview you. I'm always looking for people to interview. But like I said, it's so tough to find good people to interview because people that truly quit on their own is they completely it's completely erased from their mind. Even their loved ones forget it that they did it in the past. So um, that's it for now. Good luck to you. I'll be posting more videos. I'm writing a new book, revising the book. But like I said, with all my books that I write regarding drug and alcohol abuse, I always make them short and sweet because it's short and sweet to the point um, on how to stop doing what you're doing. So there's no reason to write a 500-page book. It doesn't take much. But I'm working on another book, revising it to even make it even easier to read. So I'll be posting more videos, and once that book is done, I'll publish it and give out free copies before I start selling them, like I've always done. So good luck to you. I hope you have a great weekend, and if you've decided to stop, don't look back. Just keep going forward because you're done with it. And I will see you next time. Take care.